Good day, subscribers. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am Jeremy. This is the Financial Education Channel, and today we're talking about 10 things that you absolutely need if you want to start a successful business, guys. I've started so many businesses in my time. Many of them failed mainly because I did not include these 10 things that I'm going to tell you guys today. Maybe I included a couple of them, but I did not include all 10. I've started 2 successful businesses in 2016 that are really successful, and I adapted and did these 10 things, and these are what helped me actually make them into successful businesses, guys. So I'm going to share with you these 10 things, and they're 10 things if somebody came to me on the street and said, hey man, how do I start a successful business? These are the 10 things I would tell them they need to absolutely have. And if you don't have these 10 things, it's going to be hard. It's going to be really hard, guys. So let's get into this. Hit a thumbs up if you enjoy this today. I'm going to really enjoy sharing it with you guys. So number one thing you need if you want to start a successful business, you need to have drive, ambition. You need to be a self-starter. You need to be someone that can go out and get it. You need to be someone that doesn't need to be pushed to be great at whatever you want to be great at. If you're a self-starter, if you're a self-motivator, if you wake up in the morning on your own, you know you can do it. If you always need someone pushing you and saying, oh man, you need to do this, and you're lazy and this and that, it's going to be very hard for you out there, guys, because starting a business is not easy. It doesn't matter what kind of business it is. It's not easy. You have to have drive. You have to have ambition. You have to want it. You got to have that kind of stuff, guys. If you don't, it's going to be really hard to succeed because it's very competitive out there. And you're probably going to get beat by somebody that's got a lot more drive and ambition if you're not coming with your A game every day, guys. So remember that. That's number one key over everything, drive and ambition. Number two, you got to have the ability to keep the business afloat for a minimum of 6 months in case that business doesn't make you any money for those first 6 months. If you don't have the ability to keep that business afloat for at least the first 6 months, if not the first year, you're going to have trouble out there, guys, unless you somehow have a business that you can just start raking in money right off the bat. If you can start raking in money right off the bat, maybe you don't need to have that. But there's very few businesses that really are having that type of success where they can just start like that from overnight and just are smashing success within a month or two. It's very unrealistic, guys. It generally takes 6 months to at least a year to really get, the profitability built up. So you got to stay afloat for that first 6 months at least, and be able to keep the business alive, because otherwise, if you run out of money, what's going to happen with your business? Maybe you could take out a loan. If you don't get approved for that loan, then the business is done. It's done like that overnight, guys. So make sure you got enough money to get yourself through at least the first 6 months, if not the first year, guys. It's a really important key, number two. Number three, you got to have the ability to be a people person. If you're not a people person, starting a business is going to be really hard for you because you're probably going to need to sell yourself. You're probably going to need to sell a product, a service, whatever, to other people. So you're going to need to be able to talk to other people and have them be able to like you a bit, be able to sell them a bit on whatever you're trying to sell them, guys. If you're not a people person, that's going to be hard for you to succeed. It really is. I mean, I don't know a lot of people that have been successful business starters who were not people who could get along with somebody they're trying to sell a product or service to. It's going to be very hard for you unless maybe it's something internet-based where you never have to come in contact with anybody ever. If maybe it's that type of business, maybe you cannot be a people person, but 95+% of the businesses, people start out there. You're going to interact with people. You're going to have customers. You have to see face-to-face or on the phone or whatever. You got to be able to talk to those people and be a decent human and likable and those kinds of things, guys. So be a people person, number three. Number four, you got to have a decent idea for your business. If you had everything on this list, but you don't at least have a decent idea, then you're probably going to fail. You got to have some type of idea that's at least decent. For me personally, I run a photography, videography business for real estate marketing, basically. So for me, it's a decent business idea. People need professional photos for their listings. I'm the one that can do that. And then also I differentiate my business a bit because I do drone photos, videos, some things that some photographers don't do and some videographers don't even do. So that's my decent business idea. It's not like I have some type of worldly, the greatest business idea ever. You don't need to have that to be a successful business. It just has to be a decent business idea, guys. And then there's some people that have just horrible business ideas that it's like, what are they thinking? And if you have a horrible business idea, it's kind of hard to succeed. So have a decent one, guys. Number five, you gotta know how you got to think about how your business will have an advantage versus competitors. So that's a huge key there, guys. How will your business you're starting have an advantage versus the business over there that's kind of similar to yours, the business over there that's similar to yours, the business over there that's almost exactly like yours? How will you give an advantage? Okay, guys, that's what you got to think about. So me in my game, in my photography, videography business, right? My advantage is I price lower because I like to try to do more volume rather than just have a super high price. So I do a product that's maybe not the greatest product, but it's good enough. It's a good quality product, maybe not a great quality product, but I price a lot lower than a lot of my competitors. When a lot of my competitors are way up here, I'm coming in under here. I have like the McDonald's philosophy for photography and videography. I'm going to do a product that's good enough, a Big Mac, and I'm going to sell it to a lot of different people rather than maybe just have a Five Guys burger, or think about your favorite burger chain or whatever. You know, maybe they have like the best burger ever, but they're not doing the volume McDonald's is. We all know McDonald's has more profitability than every burger place in the whole world combined, guys. So that's kind of what gives me a competitive advantage, as well as the drone related things, as well as video and all those kinds of things, guys. So you got to think about in your business. Are you going to be a value proposition where you come in cheaper than your competitors? Or are you going to be, maybe you're top of the line. Maybe you're like the best product. Maybe that's what gives you the competitive advantage. You're the absolute best. No one can touch your product you come out with. No one can touch your service you do. You're the highest of the highest end. Maybe that's what gives you a competitive advantage. But you got to think about that, guys. What's realistic? What's going to give you your competitive advantage? Number 6 here, guys. You got to have profitability within the first 6 months if you're a small business, if you're starting a small business, or within the first 3 years if you're starting a big business. So if you're not profitable and you're just starting a small business within the first 6 months, you got to really reevaluate your idea and maybe think, man, maybe I should go in this direction, really start rethinking things. If you're not profitable after the 6-month mark, if that's a small business you're starting, like I started basically a small business. If you're starting a big business with a big business idea and it's not profitable within the first 3 years, you got to think to yourself, is this really going to work out, and how do I get profitable? Is this just a never-ending thing where I keep having to take out debt or keep having to pump money into the company? How do I get this business profitable? They say if you don't make money after the first 3 years of starting a business, it's a hobby. So think about it that way, guys. And like I said, with a small business, I think if you're not profitable within the first 6 months, it's a hobby, or you need to figure it out. You need to figure out, how do I get to that place of profitability? Really think that out, guys. And if you're still not profitable after you've rethought it out and try to implement the strategy, maybe that business is not the one for you at that point, guys. So that's another big key in how to have a successful business. Number 7, you got to have a way to get your product or service in front of potential customers. Because if no potential customers see your product, see your service, then how are you going to sell to them? How are you going to go out and do jobs for them? Or how are you going to go out and sell this new product to them if you don't have a way before you even start the business of, okay, I can get in front of customers by doing this. Maybe it's going door to door. Maybe you're selling something to businesses and businesses. So you go to business and, try to talk to the managers. Maybe you're making phone calls to people. Whatever you got to do, you got to think, how do I do it? You got to think about, how am I going to get in contact with the decision makers that can actually buy my product or buy my service, or get my company to do something for them, guys? You got to think about that. You got to have that figured out. Because if you don't have that figured out, how are you going to sell? If you don't have a plan on how you're going to get in front of customers' faces or on the phone with them, the ones that are actually going to buy it, you got to think about that, guys. That's a key. A lot of people start a business and they have no clue how they're going to actually attract customers. They think it's just going to magically come to them. No, you got to go out in there and get the customers, guys. Unless you have something that's so amazing that it's like, ridiculous or something. Most businesses, you got to go find the customer. So how do you do that? It's key. Number 8, you got to have a way, it's 2017, you got to have a way to build your business through at least one social media platform. My business personally, I build it through YouTube. Now, I'm not talking about this channel, I'm talking about my business channel, which is for all my videos I post on YouTube and whatnot. And that brings me in customers, that brings me in clients. So you got to think about, how do you do it for your business you're starting? Is it Facebook? Is Twitter the best way? Is Instagram the best way? Is YouTube the best way? Is Snapchat the best way? All these different services. You got to have at least one service that you're like, I know I can attract clients and customers through this one service. And hopefully without spending any money on making ads for it and things like that, guys. You just have something you can place on there and somehow build that community that it would make sense for your business, guys. So that's a big key. I mean, because you can get a lot of clients. I've gotten so many clients from my business YouTube channel before, guys. So think about that. Think about, how do I get clients from a social media platform, if not multiple social media platforms, even though you don't need multiple social media platforms. You can have just one and build that one out very well. If you do that, you're a success, guys. Number 9. You got to keep the business focused around something. You can't be jack of all trades, master of none. You got to keep it focused around something. Personally, I keep my business focused around real estate marketing. Anything photography, videography related to the real estate industry, I do it. That's my focus. That's my focus, guys. So you got to think about whatever business or service you're starting. You got to think, how do I keep that business focused around something that if somebody asks me what my business is, in 5 seconds or less, I could explain them the business and they'll understand it. They'll understand it within 5 seconds. Oh, okay, that's what you do for business. That's what your business is. If you got to go into a minute, 2-minute explanation of what your business is too unfocused at that point. You got to be able to explain it 5-10 seconds. Boom, your whole business is explained, and someone who had no clue what your business was about has a pretty good idea. If you have to stand there and say, well, I do this and then I do this, and what we do is we do that, it's like, holy smokes, man, what is your business even at? What is it even focused around? So focus that business and you'll be able to sell a lot better when you need to sell to customers and explain things to customers, guys. Number 10, last one here, guys. You got to have great customer retention. You don't want to be in the selling business. You don't want to have to spend all day, every day trying to reach out to new customers. You want to have great customer retention. So those customers you do get through the door, they keep coming back for your product. They keep coming back for your service. They don't go find someone else to do, whatever you were doing for them. You don't want, them to go find another product the next time or whatnot. You got to have great customer retention. How you do that is you got to have a good value. Do you provide a good service or a good product? Do you do it at a price that's appropriate and not so ridiculous over your competitors and things like that, guys? And then you can keep bringing those customers, and then you don't have to worry about selling so much. You don't have to worry about that once you're a year in. You can worry about just keeping those customers I do have, and maybe I spend some money on advertising here if I want, or maybe I spend an hour a week or 2 hours a week reaching out to some customers I think have a real chance of buying my product or buying my service or whatever, guys. So gotta have great customer retention. You have great customer retention, and that's going to help you immensely in starting a successful business, guys. So these are the 10 things I would share with anybody starting a business who's like, how do I start a successful one? These are the 10 things I would share with them, guys. I hope you enjoyed today. Hit a thumbs up if you did. If you just came across this channel and you're not subscribed yet, you may want to. We talk personal finance on the channel. We talk entrepreneurship. I'm an actual business owner. I give away a lot of my business tips. We talk the stock market the most of anything on the channel, guys. Thank you for watching and have a great day.